Welcome everybody to the next episode of the Cannabis Review. I'm delighted to be joined on this episode by Mike Sikorski. He is the co-founder and CEO at TRUSTT, a software platform in Europe. How are you keeping, Mike?
Hi, how are you doing, guys? Thank you very much for having me. Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us. So I wanted to learn all about what's going on in Poland because I'm hearing lots of movement and news that was contradictory to the laws that are currently in the country. But to start off, can you maybe give everybody just a brief little under 60 seconds overview of how you guys came to set up TRUSTT and your position in the cannabis industry?
Yeah, so we are TRUSTT. We are on a mission to make cannabis safer for patients and less risky for businesses. We are developing a next generation blockchain and artificial enabled supply chain verification, tracking and verification platform for European medical cannabis industry. We are in this industry for the last 2 years. We came here to disrupt it, to make it better. We are experiencing delivering technologies for the biggest brands and global brands around the world, in our previous kind of experiences. And cannabis is an amazing business to be in. We came into it analyzing trends and analyzing what's happening in the markets. But we stayed like a lot of people because of, it's pulling you in. The people in the industry are amazing, and the industry is growing in the rapid pace. We think we can come with solutions that bring that market to the full fruition and full potential.
Okay, amazing. So I'm going to jump straight into the first topic, which is an overview of Poland. So from my reading and understanding is Poland has a very strict personal drug laws like Ireland, that there's not much tolerance for anything. Yet I'm hearing at the same time a potential flourishing medical industry because the laws have specific holes in them. Can you maybe give everybody a quick little brief rundown of what is happening in Poland at the moment? How strong is the medical industry? And what is all the positive news coming out for?
Yeah, so Poland is obviously a huge market. It's a 40 million people market with a huge, acceptance of, medication and self-medication, especially. We know that by normal pharmaceutical medication. But, from the cannabis perspective, two things. First, the recreational cannabis, obviously the adult use cannabis is illegal in Poland. You can get up to 3 years for any size of possession. This is being contested now, but with the recent with the government we have now at the moment, and it may be difficult, and as we know around the world. But the medical cannabis has a huge potential in Poland. All right, in 2017, the medical cannabis was allowed in Poland. We were 12th country to do that. Poland was 12th country to do that. From May 2022, the president signed off the bill that allowed national research institutes to cultivate medical cannabis for a domestic market. These institutes are supervised by the Ministry of Agriculture. That creates number of other challenges, but the market is growing, and it's rapidly growing. In 2019, it was 42 million euros. In 2021, it was 180 million euros, and it's expected to double by 2026 to over 500,000 euros. At the moment, we're selling probably around 1.7 tons of cannabis in Poland. There are over 9,000 registered patients, and in 2021, over 30,000 prescriptions were provided in Poland. The Polish Pharmaceutical Chamber is calculating a potential of number of Polish patients at around 300,000. So we can see that this market is ready to open. We have number of clinics in Poland prescribing medical cannabis, and it's actually quite easy to get the medical cannabis in Poland. There is no list of diseases, so there is full freedom by the doctor to prescribe cannabis, and it takes as long as 15 minutes probably to get the telecall, prescription, televisit, and get it into and get the prescription for medical cannabis. So as you can see, the market is there, the possibility is there. We have challenges with product. We had challenges last year with product, so there is more demand with supply at the moment, than supply in Poland.
Okay, very interesting. So some of the hurdles that are hindering access for patients in countries like Ireland and Malta, which is a consultant needs to sign off as well as the GP, all of that is basically null and void when it comes to Poland.
Yeah,
Once the doctor is educated, he thinks it's going to benefit the patient, you're allowed to prescribe it, and even telemedicine is allowed, correct?
that's exactly it. And we need to remember every doctor can prescribe it, but not a lot of doctors are trained and are feeling comfortable with prescribing cannabis. That's why we have this kind of this growth of specialized clinics that kind of group specialized doctors who are then prescribing the medicine, the cannabis medicine to the patients.
Okay, sounds very exciting. Something that we'll have to keep our eye on. Next thing I wanted to jump on to that if you know anything about business and you've dealt with companies in Europe, that Poland is one of the hubs of cultivation, manufacturing, and software design when it comes to the European sector. Can you tell me of these three, let's say, topics or disciplines, which one do you think cannabis is going to be the most has the most potential, shall we say, in Poland? Is there going to be large scale medical cultivation sites? Do you see the manufacturing of edibles and vape pens and all that stuff happening there? Or as you guys are one of the best parts of the world for designing software, do you see something what you guys are doing or other companies that are coming up as being the kind of the focal point of the Polish industry or the leader of the Polish industry?
Yeah, thank you for recognizing that. You see, like as you say, like Poland has a huge history in horticulture and agricultural horticultural practices. So we're feeling that the kind of possibility of cultivating medical cannabis in Poland can be a huge opportunity. Obviously, there are hurdles, as I mentioned. The research institutes that are supervised by the Ministry of Agriculture that are allowed now to cultivate, they have challenges. Obviously, like the approach was as to agriculture. We need to remember that we have a pharmaceutical product that we're dealing with here. So there are challenges of how to set up those this agriculture that comes into the pharmaceutical product. So that's number of challenges that the law and the legislation around how the kind of from the commercial perspective that cultivation for those research institutes will look like. It's also a challenge. There is no clear guidance of how, for example, JV with commercial entities can work. Who will fund those cultivations? We know that there is a huge capex, that is involved. Huge investment in kind of building a supply chain. Building a cultivation sites and then production sites. So I think that before we go into producing edibles, vapes, etc., we need to kind of look into how we're going to cultivate, good, well verified, credible pharmaceutical product. And that's the first hurdle we need to jump on in Poland. All right. And I think that's when it's done, we have a huge history of working with cannabis. We need to remember that up to 60s, Poland was the biggest hemp producer in Europe and the second in the world. We had over 30,000 hectares of cannabis, industrial cannabis. But there is a history of working with that plant in Poland and being accepted within the kind of society to a certain extent. All right. Now, if it comes to software, and this is where we feel very comfortable. All right. Like we have a huge, great community of IT specialists around machine learning, around blockchain, and that expertise helps us in TRUSTT a lot to develop the product, that can change and can change completely the industry. All right. What we believe in here is that bringing that medical cannabis mainstream lies in the creation of proof-based ecosystem where quality and compliance verification is streamlined, and that streamline and that increasing that traceability, auditable traceability, immutable compliance, all those things that make product better for the patients, they can come through the technology. So we don't need to blindly trust certification. We don't need to blindly trust, what we see on documents. We can trust the technology and the verification through technology, and that whole source and everything that happens across the supply chain with cannabis can be checked and verified. All right, and that's where that pedigree of good, great technical expertise from Poland, it's playing a great benefit for a company like us, like TRUSTT.
Very interesting indeed, and it's the technical expertise. I think everybody's looking at the cannabis industry with rose-tinted glasses, whereas the people who are dominating certain sectors like motor or food and beverage are going to be able to dominate when it comes to cannabis. I think it's about implementing the skill set of each territory that is going to suit the cannabis industry. So I think Ireland is going to be one of the hubs of the European industry, purely from a finance, a legal, advice and consultancy and company setups. We know we're not going to be the biggest cultivator. We know we're not going to be a manufacturer. So I think it's about finding what it is that each territory is specializing in and bringing that to the cannabis industry. And as we spoke, you guys have 3 specific global sectors that you're already excelling at as well. I don't see why these can't be brought into a global cannabis industry.
That's exactly it, and we need to remember why we are based between Ireland and Poland. You say Ireland may not be a greatest cultivator, but that connection to pharmaceutical industry here in Ireland, can help us a lot to kind of understand and bring certain things from how the medicine is verified, how it's produced to the certain standard, and how, especially with cannabis, how we can secure supply for patients, which is a huge problem in countries like Poland. Just last year we had a challenge in Poland where by 4 months there was no product at all in the pharmacies. All right, so because of the challenges with the consistency and the quality, there was no product for patients in Poland. At one point, I think around October, 140 kilograms of cannabis were brought into Poland, and they were bought up within 2 days. So we can imagine that that was bought up in 2 days. What happens with the patient next month? Okay, so that's challenges that we can resolve. And I think that here, that connection between Ireland, where we know a lot about pharmaceutical, we know a lot about supply chain, we know a lot about how to bring good product on a quality, and using technologies that are used in pharmaceutical or food, like you mentioned. And then Poland, with this expertise in technology, in agriculture, etc., we can combine those elements to bring a better product. We also need to remember Ireland is a great place. It's greatly positioned strategically between Europe and United States. 2 continents. So it's amazing kind of launch pad for us as well.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. I think Ireland might be the slowest to get our shit together when it comes to actually getting the industry going. But when it comes to the likes of drug development and discovery, we've already got the best pharmaceutical companies already here in the country to be able to fast track the potential orphan drugs and real life drugs that can be conducted after 5 or 6 years of clinical trials.
That's exactly it. So I think that's one. And then obviously Poland. We're looking at Poland as our, let's say, I'm Polish. Lots of our team are Polish. We have here in Ireland, let's say, sales office. Most of our production happens in Poland, and it's great to have also the scientific basis in Poland. Right, there is a lot of agricultural scientists working on new genotypes development, new marking of biological markings of, for example, strains, etc. So we can dip into that, from one side in the pharmaceutical knowledge, on the other side on the agricultural knowledge, around the plant expertise, etc.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. It's very exciting. I think what Ireland and Poland are going to be able to do in the European industry once time has enough length in front of it. Is there something you're looking forward to over the next 12 months? What do you see being the little cherry on the cake over the next 12 months for you guys at TRUSTT?
Yeah, with us and at TRUSTT, we are in the phase now of raising our next round. Like every startup, every ambitious startup, we need funds to realize our mission and vision. We already launched our first version of a product, which is being implemented in various sites in Poland and Spain and Portugal. We're starting those in Q1 2023. We will be launching our commercial product. So launch of our commercial product at the beginning of 2023 is our if that's being launched well, if that's being implemented, we have a lot of excitement around product while we talk to the clients, to licensed producers who can optimize production, who can prove the compliance of their products, and then trace their product up to the patient so they know exactly what the patient is taking. If we can do that, if we can launch successfully, that will be my cherry on the cake for the next year, and that's our main objective within the next year.
Very good. Yeah, I think clear rules and regulations and traceability and accountability is what you guys are going to be able to bring to the industry, and it's what we're all looking to have, so the governments can see that there's an actual playbook that everybody's playing from, and everybody has to play with the same rules. Our time is up for now, Mike, but thank you very much for taking the time to do this. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you very much, guys. Good luck.
Thank you very much for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next episode.